Welcome back, guys. This is my spoiler review for episode 3 of season 6 of Better Call Saul. So usually I am super excited and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk about Better Call Saul. I love Better Call Saul. Slippin' Jimmy, all this stuff. I can't wait to talk about Giselle and their plans and this and that. But no, of course, episode 3 was a horrific, just melancholy monstrosity of heartbreak, and it just absolutely killed me. And I just sat on my couch instead of being like, "Ooh, I'll get up on my couch, set up everything, can't wait to talk about it." I just sat there, just sad. I was like, what words do I even say about this episode? I'm just sad. I'm just very sad and deflated, and I just sad. I can't believe Nacho died. I just can't believe he died. He died so early. The way he died. Everything about it just made me feel so sad, and like, I understand he wanted to protect his father. Of course, that was always kind of where the character was going. He always felt like the Jesse of Better Call Saul, where he always wanted to get out of the game, but he kept kind of being pushed back into it, and his dad was kind of the main reason for getting pushed back in. Gus was using his dad. Screw you, Gus. Hate Gus. Just monster of a man. And Nacho was always kind of that likable guy. He's like the best of a bunch of bad people. And just the way this episode kind of plays out, like we get a really extended kind of escape scene where he's in the oil and he's slipping under the oil, and I'm like, oh, there must be some kind of metaphor there where he's under the oil, submerged in oil, submerging in the darkness of gooey whatever, something, a metaphor, symbolism. Overall, great scene, love it, love him getting away from the cousin bang shooty, look at our shiny suits guys. And then we get to this moment where he just goes, alright Gus, you want me dead, I'll die. I'll let them kill me. I'll say it's some other crew or gang or whatever the hell, and I'll save you, but you'll have to save my father. And, on paper, and even in the show, it makes sense, but I am just still left with such, like, this shocking sense of just sadness and disappointment, and just like, I don't know, maybe I thought he was going to survive the series and like escape. Him and his dad would break free somehow. But the dad, he just says, he's like, go to the police. What more is there to say? So his dad's not going with him. His dad's very stubborn like that, and I understand where his dad's coming from. But Nacho's not going to the police. He's not going to go to the police, so I guess this is what he had to do. And it's just so shocking and surprising. It's such a subversion of expectations for me. But like in the way that like Vince Gilligan and Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul have done. And not in the kind of cheap way. Like this feels like it makes sense. It's rounded. And they have a great, incredibly powerful, emotional final scene. But yeah, I'm so sad, man. I also find it such a bizarre feeling to have kind of like the heart of gold of the show kind of gone, because Jimmy's kind of, Jimmy's slipping down into Better Call Saul, into the character that's going to become, the Better Call Saul from Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad, who's like, Belize, let's kill everyone, Belize, which he's not really there yet, but he does have a heart of gold. But Nacho was kind of the opposite of like, Jimmy slipping into Saul. Nacho was always trying to do better, trying to get out. And yeah, it's just so disappointing that he dies. And it's just like, oh man, like, I don't care that he got Gus out of this situation. Like, screw Gus. I mean, obviously Gus gets out of the situation because we've seen Breaking Bad. Also, the fact that there's any tension in a scene with Nacho and 7 other men who we know cannot die because they die later in Breaking Bad. Like, we know all 7 of them cannot die. And it's like, how is there still tension? It just shows you how great like the show is at just building and ramping up that tension, and just like how much we care about Nacho and how much like what happens to him, how he dies. Because at that point, when he's there, it's all said and done. It's such a, I don't know, like having the whole episode have this feeling, like this weight behind it, like we're at the gallows, like the execution is going to happen. When, how, and when and how. Like, it's just, I don't know, a really interesting way to do it, rather than have it being like a bang bang shocking kind of death surprise, like, oh no, they're dead. Like, it's kind of an interesting way to kind of have this foreboding sense of it's coming, how is it going to happen though? Like, when's it actually going to happen? It is very satisfying for him to tell Hector Salamanca and be like, I put you in that chair, I poisoned you, ba ba ba, and he just does an amazing speech. He gets the very famous one swear. You get one swear a season, I think. One F-bomb a season, I think. I don't know. I feel like Breaking Bad didn't have one, and suddenly the last 2 seasons, there was like one a season or something like that. But yeah, he gets it, and he tells Hector Salamanca to go F himself, and it's just very satisfying, him calling all the Salamancas out for being monsters and murderers, and the fact he'd do it again, and all this stuff. And yeah, and then the reveal of the glass, the broken glass, was just, if nothing is more Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul universe. Nothing is more Vince Gilligan than having like a cold open where you're like, what the hell? What is this? Some kind of mysterious symbolism, foreboding thingy, just like beautiful cold open thingy. And then at the end, you're like, broken glass! It's the broken glass! Ah! Masterful. I honestly love Breaking Bad / Better Call Saul's use of cold openings. I always have. It's been one of my favorite aspects of the series. Always, like, I will never forget just that kid motorcycling. We've got all the cool, classic, stylized shots of the motorbike riding and the kid, and you're just like, what the hell was that? That was awesome, but what the hell was that? And then that horrific reveal at the end of the train heist episode. And this had that same sense, like, we're moving through all this, like, wood and broken sticks, and then you get this beautiful flower just sticking out from the sticks, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of dead stuff going on. There's one bright light, one heart of gold character, like a Nacho-esque character, this rose sticking out, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I'm like, okay, is Nacho gonna appear? Is something gonna happen? And then it just pans over, then they hear the thunder and the rain starts, and then you just see this glass, this broken piece of glass, and I was like, oh my god, this foreboding, foreshadowing, just intense, beautiful looking moment, just exceptional. And like, I knew, it's like, remember broken glass, Jax, remember. And then it didn't even occur to me. He's got his hands behind his backs and he's all bleeding. I'm like, what the hell? He's really like digging in those nails. That man is and he's like, cut, and he's got the thing, and I know he can't hurt or kill anyone, but it's still so intense, so shocking, and just that use of being like, put something that's going to be beautiful, maybe metaphorical or symbolic, but just a beautiful, foreboding, like ominous feeling to a scene, and just have some broken glass, because he's just going to whip some broken glass out. Just exceptional filmmaking. I'm so surprised they can just keep doing it. There is probably like 10 or 12 times they've done this throughout their 2 series, and it's just exceptional filmmaking, and I'm just in awe of how clever they are, the way they do it, and the way they present, and the way they go, well, what about this? And then at the end, it's so satisfying. They are the masters of Chekhov's gun, but it's like Chekhov's kind of semi-hidden gun. It is utterly terrifying and horrific to think that he shot himself. So like, Nacho died of like suicide. Like, that's like the end of it. But it's also very, very satisfying that the Salamancas didn't get their dirty monster torturing hands on him and didn't, do anything to him while he's still alive. I am kind of satisfied that Mike didn't have to kind of play his hand and kill him as well. I feel like Nacho kind of did that to stop Mike from killing him. So I kind of like that on that level. Nacho was just so like self-sacrificing, so like doing it for everyone else in this moment. Like, he's doing it for Gus, doing it for his father, doing it for Mike, all these kind of things, and he still gets to kind of spit in the Salamanca's face, spit in Hector Salamanca, the worst man who ever lives, face, which is really satisfying. Yeah, just, oh my god, I cannot believe he died. Like, just, I knew someone was going to get the Mike treatment and they would die in part 1, not part 2, and it'd be really sad and horrifying and like shocking, and you'd be like, oh, too soon. But this is so much sooner than I thought, and I don't know, there was something before he made that phone call where I'm like, we are spending a lot of time with him in this oil barrel and the oil, like, just was spending a lot of time with him this episode. Like, I feel like it's been 10 minutes, we haven't even seen Saul. Like, it's his final season, give him some screen time. But now, of course, it makes sense, it's Nacho's final episode, you want to give him as much screen time and stuff as possible. Oh boy, Nacho, I will miss you. So once again, no Lalo. Where's my Lalo? I want Lalo on my screens. Give me more Lalo, Better Call Saul. How dare you? How dare you withhold Lalo from me? But then you keep being like every character that Jimmy's and bloody Kim are dealing with this episode, they're like, it's Lalo. Lalo, you thought it was this other guy, but it's Lalo. And now it's all kind of unraveling for Jimmy, where everyone's going to realize, everyone's going to realize that Saul Goodman represented a Salamanca, and he's a friend of the cartel. And I'm really interested to see where it's going to go from here. the other lawyer who's like, I'm a stand-up lawyer, and they had that scene in the elevator where Jimmy conned her into doing a bunch of stuff so he could move the clients on to make some more money, which, classic Saul Goodman, he's so good. But she is like, I know he's all show, bang, 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 Jimmy, Saul Goodman, whatever, but he's a good man, and he should, tell me all his cartel secrets and, as Kim puts it, be a rat. And we know that Saul Goodman is not going to go down this road, but the most interesting thing that I found from all of this was the way Kim posed it to him. Because on one hand, I think a couple of seasons ago, or even like a season and a half ago, I would have thought Kim would have pushed it and put it in a perspective where you're like, you don't want to be a friend of the cartel. You can turn on him, but he's dead, and this and that and that. But instead, she's like, what do you want to be? A friend of the cartel or a rat? And like the way she said it, it's like when you're trying to convince a friend, you're like, what do you want to do? This super sexy, cool, fun thing? Or this really lame thing the other person wants you to do? And it's like, it's all about phrasing, and Kim's phrasing and tone is just like really kind of interesting and a little upsetting. It's like, oh man, Giselle is kind of getting full flight, big wings of Giselle. And she's like, I don't know, like Kim is kind of turning into, like, I wouldn't say she's like evil Kim. I just think the way she's been kind of morally corrupted, and even that feels like a strong word, but it's just like the way she has kind of gone into Slippin' Kimmy and kind of turned into this different character has felt so much more gradual. But when I start like thinking about all these scenes that have taken place over the series, it doesn't feel like, wait, what? Why is Kim like this? I'm like, oh my god, Kim's finally turned to the dark side. And it really is so satisfying. For so long, I was like, Saul Goodman or Slippin' Jimmy will be the downfall of Kim. But now it feels like Kim will be the downfall of Kim. Or I suppose Giselle will be the downfall of Kim. I'm really starting to think this whole Howard thing is going to absolutely backfire. Like maybe his whole career and business and life and everything will be crushed. But I really think Kim's downfall it's inevitable, and it's coming very, very soon. I mean, now with Nacho dying so early, maybe it will be a little bit later, because I feel like there's so much less to happen and to do in the story. Like, there's so many, like, with 13 episodes, I'm like, okay, it's going to track like this and this and this and this. But with one main character player kind of off the board, I kind of feel like, what does Mike and Gus and the Salamancas have to do? Like, Lalo, for sure. But their whole thing, like, having all 7 of those characters that survive into Breaking Bad surround a man as he screams and does his whole final monologue and kills himself. That arc really feels like it ended. Like, I feel like Gus and Mike's stories, they kind of feel like they've got to the point of those characters in Breaking Bad. I know there's so much time in between still, so anything could happen, but they feel like they've developed and changed into those characters more so than, say, Kim or Saul. And I don't know, I feel like maybe it's going to focus on that lawyer aspect a lot more than we thought. I am really, really hoping, especially now that this season is kind of racked up and cranked up to be like anything can happen at any point, it's way quicker than you kind of might have thought, is I think that maybe at the end of this part, we could be done with Better Call Saul timeline, and we could be going through Breaking Bad in part 2 into Gene timeline and get a couple of black and white Gene ones or color Gene or whatever the hell we're going to do, and that'll be kind of the ending. And so I don't know, I'm just like, wow, anything can happen, and anything can happen a lot quicker in different ways than I was expecting. I felt like I had an idea of where I thought everything was going to go, but this episode, nothing happened that I thought was going to happen, except I suppose the whole Howard con thing. I knew there'd just be like another little wrinkle into it. I'm also loving that there's just going to be board where it's all there. I'm not going to pause and zoom in and try and find it out. I just love that it's like, it's there, but we're not going to tell you what's going on. And I love kind of each, bit happening. I'm like, okay, we're getting a little bit more here. We're getting a little bit more here. And I love how they have this whole plan about the car. Then she's like, let's just use his car. Jimmy's like, that seems a bit extreme. And she's like, you mean audacious? I think he means crazy, Kim. But then he's like, words. Now I'm saying audacious. You know the way writers like to do that. Another scene that I really, really enjoyed and kind of took me by surprise, but I kind of just love what it says about Jimmy at this point. It's like, well, Saul Goodman pretty much. He's going full Saul Goodman, and just Huel is just like, you've got all the money. You're a lawyer. Yeah, like a legit lawyer, like on the level, like, you get paid for being like legit. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and your wife is a legit lawyer getting real good money, legit? He's like, yeah. Why are you doing these scams? And Jimmy's like, oh, no. You don't understand. In the big picture, everything's going to be great. We're going to save the planet. We're doing the right thing. And I was just like, every single time he says this, it's just like, no. It's all going to backfire so horrifically, so horrendously. And a character like Huel telling Jimmy that. He's like, yeah, if you say so, man, I'll see you in a bit. Like, he knows that Jimmy is full of shit. And I don't know. I just found that such an excellent scene. Someone like Huel just looking at Jimmy and being like, what are you doing, man? You got a good thing. Maybe just stick with that good thing. And Jimmy's like, no. We got this. You don't got this, Jimmy. Oh, boy. Oh. I'm honestly so nervous as to how this whole scheme is going to backfire and explode. Because I just feel like it's just a ticking time bomb. Like, every single time Kim says anything now, I'm just like, it's too much, Giselle. Giselle, Kim, Giselle, just stop. Oh my God. Like, why do you even need to take down Howard? Like, why do you hate him? Like, oh my God. I don't know. It's just got like such an ominous feeling. And I suppose that's just the final season ominous feeling I get when I watch a great final season of TV, where I'm just like, when you're watching a show, anything can happen at any point if it's a great show and it's got that vibe. But when you're at the final season, it really just feels like anything could happen. Like, there's no more time for them to, like, sometimes something will happen, you're like, oh, I can't wait, that's like a little thing, I can't wait for it to kind of come full circle in the next season. I can't wait for, oh, this is gonna be like the stepping stone, and I can't wait for the final season where it's kind of explodes. This is now, we're at that point where it's like, every character has taken all those steps, and now everything's just exploding. Like Nacho's head. That's so insensitive. I hate myself. Why did I say that? Overall, this episode was just so sad. I cannot get over how sad I was. I was just like sitting there being like, I don't think I'm going to have the energy to be like, review, bang, bang, hell, Better Call Saul. Welcome to another episode of this. Just so sad. Oh boy. Poor Nacho. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below. I'd love to know what everyone thought about this episode. Did everyone else find it just utterly sad and just heartbreaking? Yeah, would love to know everyone's thoughts on Nacho for just the whole series. Like, what do you think about that guy as a character? Thought he was amazing. Easily one of my favorite characters of the show. I can't believe he died!